Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the Conqueror Gun Carriage. It's the British Tier 10 self-propelled gun, and it's located on the south spawn of Prokhorovka. And it's under the command of Alephus. I think that's Alephus, actually. Well, what can I tell you about it? Well, it's a 9.2-inch howitzer mounted on the chassis of a Conqueror tank. But it was never actually produced. It was a proposal to put an SPG in the Conqueror chassis. It never got built. One of the great things about it, though, is it's got a fantastic trajectory, which means it can almost land shells behind rocks, and many people have called it the Conqueror orbital laser cannon, because it's actually firing so close behind the rocks, from so far above, that it appears it's actually firing from orbit. Okay, so he's gone to the back of the map and he's now taking aim at the enemy. So batch at 25 ton at the centre line, and he's loaded. Now he does have a very long reload cycle, I'm afraid. And somebody is capping. This is an encounter game, not a standard one. And I suspect it's that batch at 25 ton that we saw up at the centre line. He's popped in there. No sign. No, there's the batch at 25 ton. So it's not that tank. It's somebody else. Now this is a tier 10 game because it's a tier 10 tank, and it's a 510 distribution, and that E100 is just outside range. One of the problems with the Conqueror Gun Carriage is it does have a limited range, and as you can see it's got a flattened reticule. That means that's the maximum range that he can fire at, but he can still damage that E100 even from that range. And we don't know if he did any damage there because the E100 went unsighted just before the shell arrived. Ah, there's an AMX 1390. Now, I think he's a little closer and probably in range, but he is retreating now. Now, as it's an encounter battle, it's much longer on the cap. We've still got at least 2 minutes, and somebody has managed to get into the cap to cap block it. It was the Leopard prototype. And we've got a whole bunch of enemy tanks that are bunched together, trying to climb up on top of the hill, and we're going to go for the E75 rounds out. Oh, it went long, but it did stun them. Give it another shot. Okay, we've got more than one Arty in this game. The other one's an M53, M55, and he's going to give a try from the other side of the map, on the west side. And there's his round coming in. Looks like he got some damage. We're almost loaded. Okay, we're loaded now. Rounds out on the Centurion. Oh, it landed between the Centurion and the Object 268. That's quite good because it stunned both of them again. And so long as those tanks are stunned, they're going to find it difficult to get shots on our heavies who are nearby. And in fact, actually, one of them's been taken down. The Object 430's been managed to take out the Object 268. Now IS-7's moving up to try and look over the hill and fire into the cap area. And it looks like he got a reset. Yes, it's the Skoda T50 that we've seen. And he's the other side of the cap, but we're going to put a round in there. We are loaded. Rounds out. Direct hit! 569 hit points. It completely resets the cap now. But the cap is still blocked. We've still got our AMX M451 in there. Now, can we get around on that Centurion? Well, the other Arty's going for the Centurion, and looks like Alephus is doing the same. Almost loaded. Now he's estimating where he's gone. Okay, can see where he's gone now. Rounds out. Oh, really good shot. It destroyed that Centurion. 609 hit points of damage. One direct hit. You heard it sizzle as it hit the outer shell of the tank, and it was completely obliterated. Okay, Skoda T50 again, and he's gone. Just taken out by the M53, M55. So we've now got somebody capping, and now the enemy's going to try to get a reset. Obviously they've lost the hill, and we're now going to try and make it very unpalatable to the other side. Oh! Our Skoda took a very big hit there from the enemy Arty. Of course, the enemy's got a T92 HMC and an FB3805, but somebody managed to get a lovely round into the enemy there, and Alephus has decided to move a lot closer, not only to hit the enemy at the back of the field, but also to make sure that his shots at close range do much more damage. If there's a shorter time for him to between firing and hitting the target, there's more chance he's going to hit them directly on and get a good kill. And he got a lovely direct hit there, and he took out the AMX 1390. I think he actually hit the cram barn, but he took out the 1390 as he was going by. Guys, taking a very unusual position into the field, but it's the right thing to do because you're protected on this side. The enemy, your team are actually holding this area of the cap, and therefore you can quite easily shoot at the enemy. And there we've got a T95 in the water, and our Object 430 is going to spot for us, I think, but he's decided not to do that. We've almost completed the cap, by the way. There's the cram barn again, dialing in, lining up, fires a round in, and oh no, he doesn't get it. Doesn't get it this time. Now I wouldn't be so happy about going into that dip, because the walls of that dip would make it very, very difficult to shoot out at targets which are fairly close. But I think the reason why he's decided to do it is the Batchat 25 that's coming down, and he's not loaded yet. And if that Batchat comes over the corner, and he's actually in distress now, asking for help from 1390. He's coming over to try and get rid of that Batchat. Oh, he's got a round into him. And the Batchat's gone. So threat's gone. He can now lay about that cram barn again. But instead he's decided to go for the T95. Now we just lost one of the tanks in the cap area, so the M103. But the enemy just lost their cram barn as well. So we are now clearing up the enemy tanks at the back of the map. And there's the T95. He managed to come out the water. He's coming for the cap, and direct hit. 359 hit points. And it looks to me like Alephus is going to take the Arty into the cap area to assist the cap. Speed it up. It's very risky, but it is a tactic that I do approve of. And quite often I've capped as Arty, and it's worked, and I've taken out the enemy. Firing from inside the cap as I'm capping, attacking the enemy as they try to come in at me. Okay, now apparently the remaining Arty, or the remaining enemy, are on the west side of the map. And there's the 100. Lines up a shot. Where he's going to be, round out, and oh,
that was close.
It went to one side again. It didn't go where he aimed it, but it looks like he's going to. Oh, he's staying just short of the cap. He's not going to go in. That would end the game prematurely, but we've almost capped out, and they've reset the cap to enable the other members of the team to kill these last remaining enemy. There's still an Arty, which is a T92 and a Waffenträger Alpha Panzer somewhere in that area. Something he could do right now is he could pop into the cap himself and start capping. And at least that then the cap would still be applying pressure to the enemy, and he can always decap if needed. That's another thing I'm actually personally in favour of, is ensuring that there's always a cap running on the enemy to put pressure on them. It makes them panic, it makes them do silly things, and usually that could be a good thing for us in terms of actually then catching their mistakes and killing them. But he's trying to estimate where that T-95 might be. I think it's going to be in the row of bushes at the back of the map. So there's the Waffenträger. Okay, fires the round in. Oh, he got the Waffenträger. He wiped him out. 401 hit points. Really good shot there. That's his third kill. He could now... oh, no, he can't platoon with the M53. He's already in a platoon. But he couldn't platoon with him anyway because Wargaming don't allow Arty to platoon, which is something we'd like them to correct. We would like Arty to platoon, even if it's just 2. Okay, somebody is saying over on the other side of the map that they might be in grid square A0. I don't think that's so. I think he might be in grid square A1. Be very surprising if he's in grid square A0. Well, everyone's going there. Oh, there he is! Oh, no, that one didn't work. He did stun him, so he'll pick up some stun assist. And he is. And the T-92's been destroyed, and that's a win. So let's have a look at the end of battle stats. It's an ace tanker for Alephus in the Conqueror Gun Carriage, and he actually completed SPG 15 for the T55A with honours off this game, and he said it was his best game in the Conqueror Gun Carriage so far. So let's have a look and see what else he got. Well, he got a bruise medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He managed to get 19. But an ace tanker is very nice and very welcome in any occasion. He managed to get 3,824 hit points of damage. He did get the highest damage in the game, but it wasn't enough for the high caliber. The highest score on the enemy team was their batch at 25. He managed 3,343. And then the 50 TP on his own team managed 3,774. When it came to kills, it was the M53, M55 who managed to do the best on his team with 4 kills. 4 kills for the Waffenträger as well on the enemy team, and then came Alephus with 3 kills as well as the Object 430. When it came to base XP, it was Alephus who was the highest with 1,149. I think that's because of all the assistance he gave as well, plus the M53, M55, he managed 994, then came the AMX 1390 with 931. And a big shout out to the AMX 1390, by the way, for coming to our rescue and getting rid of the enemy just when we needed him to, because if he hadn't actually done that, then I think Alephus would have found it great difficulty surviving when that enemy got too close for comfort. So let's have a look at detail report. Well, Alephus fired 12 rounds during that battle. He got 6 direct hits, 6 penetrations, 10 splash. Damage of 3,824 hit points, all at more than 300 meters. He damaged 10 of the enemy, 2/3 of the enemy team, killed 3 of the enemy, 1/5 of the enemy team, did damage assistance of 417 hit points and stun assistance of 3,727 hit points. And that's why he got the ace tanker, because the combination of those two together with the amount of damage he did directly himself was enough to earn the XP necessary for an ace tanker. He caused 13 stuns during that battle. He got 45 capture points while he was sitting in the cap. On a standard account, he earned 55,031 credits for the battle. And after ammunition resupply, this ammo is very expensive, I'm afraid. He did take away 25,631 credits. He received 1,149 XP, base XP, and there was no multipliers, so that's all he took away. So I'm sure Alephus is very happy with that ace tanker, but he did very well in that battle, and even though he was sitting in a very exposed position up on top of the railway line for most of the battle, he did get very good results. And I think it was the fact that the enemy team wasn't really pushing that well over the hill, that enabled him to stay in the open for so long and not get hit. And the shots that he was making with the M53-55 as well were really making a difference to his teammates up there. So well done, Alephus. If you enjoyed this replay, please give it a like and do subscribe to our channel, and hopefully it'll be your replay that I'll be featuring in the next video.